All right, good Wednesday morning, everybody. We are live. Mic check 1 2. Want to make sure audio is working a-okay before we get started. Yes, David, it is the first day of summer, the summer solstice, which, by the way, is the longest day of the year. Good morning, Dora. Yeah, another scorcher today. It's going to be hot. Near 103 is what we're forecasting for today as we're halfway through the work week. But again, yeah, first day of summer. Yesterday was the last day of spring as we start a new season today, and it's been feeling like summer for a long time, at least since the start of June, for that matter. And again, it's the longest day of the year. We pick up about 14 hours of daylight in San Antonio. The farther south you are, the longer your day is. The closer you are to the equator, the longer your day is, and the farther north you are, a little less and less. But for the entire northern hemisphere, it is the first day of summer and the longest day of the year, and you can see it's going to be very hot today, which is why the CPS Energy has issued another yellow day. So please, if you can, conserve your energy. Use any large appliances late at night instead of during the heating of the day between 2 o'clock and 7. When you do that, it really helps to minimize energy little by little. Now, one thing that you may not do is turning up the thermostat to 78 degrees. That's a little out of the realm of possibility for a lot of folks out there, especially when we hit like 105 yesterday and heat index values up to 107 to 117 in San Antonio, which was the hottest ever yesterday. But things like running the ceiling fans, turning off your lights inside your house, closing your shades and blinds, and using your outside grill to cook. Again, it's hot outside, so it's a little difficult, but little things like these little conservation tips do really go a long way. Meantime, we do have a lot going on, so you can see right here. Excessive heat warnings posted for every county, with the exceptions of areas down towards Port Lavaca, Victoria, and near Goliad. Those are heat advisories, and the only reason why they're underneath that level of heat advisory is just because their air temperature will be down a little bit, but their heat index will still be high, because the closer you are to the coast, the more moisture, the more humidity, and the higher the heat index. So bottom line, it's going to be hot everywhere you go. And if you look across the state, everywhere except the Panhandle is in some level of heat advisory or heat warning. So it's going to be hot everywhere you go, no matter if it's here, Houston, Dallas, or even El Paso, because they're underneath a heat advisory as well. All right, so mostly quiet on radar. It's going to be a sunny day, but after 5 o'clock in the hill country, especially towards San Angelo, Del Rio, there will be a few showers and storms that get going. In this kind of pattern, when it's just so hot, there's so much hot air rising, and if it's strong enough and temperatures are hot enough, it can break the cap, what we call it in meteorology. And basically what that does, in this kind of atmosphere, the heat is pushing down on the atmosphere so much, it's just creating all these temperatures in the triple digits. But if a pocket of air is just so strong, it breaks through that ridge, through that cap, and that can create a very strong thunderstorm. It's not everywhere, it's not widespread, but when that happens, they can be very strong. They can create lightning, very large hail in a short amount of time. But because they're daytime summer thunderstorms, they don't last very long. They strengthen very quickly, but in about 15 minutes, if not around 30 minutes, they weaken very quickly. So there's some rain out there, out near Big Bend National Park, northwest of Del Rio and Valverde County. And also a little bit of moisture moving through San Angelo. So that's what we're going to watch in the next several hours as more rain starts to form on the radar and then moves farther south into San Antonio near the area by about 6 and 7 o'clock tonight. So something to watch on radar tonight. Outside right now, it's clear, it's sunny. We've jumped to 89 in San Antonio already. We're up to 88 in Stinson, southeast winds at 6 miles an hour across the metro. You can see 80s and 90s popping up on the map. Hottest spot right now at 11:30 a.m. is Bandera at 93. 88 in Seguin, 91 near Divine, middle 90s anywhere from Pleasanton, Pearsall, and towards Eagle Pass and Del Rio, even up to about 99 degrees already at Rock Springs. So more of a drier heat out there out west, which is helping their temperatures climb a little bit faster. Speaking of temperatures, up to 103 for San Antonio. Yesterday we hit 105, which was another daily record. Heat index got to 117, which was an all-time record. Del Rio air temperature got to 113, which was another all-time record. So the entire state and lots of parts of our viewing area did break pretty long-standing records. And while it will be hot today, 10 degrees above normal, we should remain below the daily record threshold, but still nonetheless hot, sunny skies. And then by tonight, more clouds move in as we progress into early Thursday. Now, before we get to Thursday, there's a chance for rain, as we talked about earlier on radar. It's quiet now, but a few storms will develop up north near Austin, towards the San Angelo area near I-20, and then start to progress farther south near the hill country and near San Antonio later on tonight, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. And right now, San Antonio is included in a level 1 out of 5. That's a marginal risk, so not the highest, but the threat is still there. As you can see, as we fast forward through 4 o'clock, this forecast model thinks 107. Don't think we get there. We'll probably stop at about 103 to 104, just like the last couple of days. But it shows you how hot forecast models are thinking at this point in time. And as a matter of fact, Del Rio, Eagle Pass, Cotulla, likely going to hit 110 to 111 for air temperature later on today. But more importantly, the rain chance after 4 o'clock. A few isolated showers get going, starts to move farther south, especially towards Fredericksburg, Gillespie County, Kerr County, and Kendall County, and towards Hays County and towards Austin and San Marcos. So it's not going to be widespread rain, but there will be 1, 2, or maybe 3 isolated storms that start to really strengthen because of the heating of the day and then progress and travel across I-35, likely about 6, 7, 8 o'clock tonight. And some of them may enter San Antonio, but again, they don't last very long. It's really the daytime heat that drives these storms. So they move farther south, but again, they rain out very quickly. So they may be strong in the hill country across Fredericksburg or Kerrville, but by the time they make it to Bernie or San Antonio, they can really fizzle out very quickly. So it's something to really keep an eye on radar, because if it breaks the cap, this ridge of high pressure, they can turn severe very quickly, creating hail, large updrafts, dangerous straight line winds up to 60 to 70 miles an hour, and of course cloud to ground lightning and very, very heavy rain. But by and large, as we fast forward through the weekend, it'll move around a little bit, this ridge, and by about Saturday and Sunday, it pretty much moves right overhead, and that's what creates even more heat. So it's hot today. It's been hot for the last several days. It will cool off a little bit, not by much, tomorrow and Friday, likely highs near 100 as opposed to 105. But it is a little break, you could say. And then by Saturday and Sunday and most of next week, we're back probably in the 102 to 105 range because of the position and the movement of this ridge of high pressure. Okay, to the tropics we go, and we'll rewind that back actually. Now, this time of year in the Atlantic, off the coast of Africa, you get a lot of these tropical waves moving through. And off the coast of Africa on the eastern Atlantic side, you get these clusters of rain, these tropical waves. They don't look like much at first, but as they encounter very warm water in the Atlantic, which by the way is extremely warm for this time of year, plus less wind shear and less dust, that's what helps create tropical storms and hurricanes this time of year. Now, there are a couple of areas of interest in the Atlantic, but only one named storm out there, and that's Tropical Storm Brett. Current wind speed 60 miles an hour. So it's a moderate tropical storm. For it to become a hurricane, a Cat 1, it needs to reach sustained wind speeds at 74. So it's almost there, but still a moderate tropical storm. It's moving fast, which is kind of limiting the strength of that. Pressure 1,001 millibar. So it's pretty strong and pretty deep in pressure and producing a lot of rain and a lot of wind. Now, based on what forecast models are telling us, and this is the official forecast cone from the Hurricane Center, probably by about Friday night, Saturday morning, it passes through St. Lucia, the Lesser Antilles Islands, the Eastern Caribbean Sea, and then probably about the weekend, Saturday evening and Sunday morning, it probably weakens substantially. Probably just turns into a tropical wave again, if not a tropical depression, just because there's going to be a lot of wind shear in the Caribbean, and that's not going to be conducive or favorable for hurricane development. So we'll watch it closely, but it doesn't look like at the moment it's going to be a threat to land. And if it is, just creating rain and some rough seas in Central America and maybe southern Mexico by next week. Hurricane names, here's the list. We saw Arlene, we saw Brett, which you just saw right now. Next name on the list, which by the way, right behind Brett, is a tropical wave that could become Tropical Storm Cindy in the coming days. And then after that's Dawn, Emily, Franklin, and then wrapping up with Tammy, Vince, and Whitney for the 2023 slate of names. So here's the forecast for San Antonio and most of the region this weekend and next week as well. Let's turn this off, and there we go. Today's 103, first day of summer. Tomorrow, a little cooler, but not by much, 100 degrees. 101 Friday. You'll see between tonight and tomorrow night, there will be that 20 to 30% chance at seeing a few isolated storms. Definitely not going to be everywhere, but if you do get lucky enough, it'll create a lot of rain very quickly, maybe some quick flash flooding concerns. That's kind of the case last couple days out west and northwest between Kerrville, Bandera, and towards Camp Wood. Some of these thunderstorms are just dropping so much rain very quickly. But anyway, more heat, 103 Saturday, 103 Sunday, and then jumping back into that dangerous, elevated, excessive category by Monday and Tuesday. Forecast highs back near 104 to 105 by Monday and Tuesday. Last day of June, if you're wondering, is next Friday. So we have about 9 more days left of the month, and it looks like it's going to wrap up on the same note on the excessively scorching side of heat and high pressure. Where's the low pressure and maybe the high pressure told it to have? Yeah, John. So, typically this time of year, it's really the ridges of high pressure that build back in. During the spring months, you get more low pressure moving through, but since we're in, near the south, we're in the south between Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, and Arizona and the desert southwest. That's really where high pressure just gains the upper hand, builds it and strengthens this time of year, and it's hard to break it. But yeah, it's just the time of year. We can get areas of low pressure and storm systems to move in, especially if they're hurricanes from the Gulf. But in terms of, sweeping storm systems from the west, it's a lot more difficult this time of year. It can happen, but again, it's less and less likely as high pressure and just summer heat takes over. All right, guys, that's it for weather. Be safe today. An excessive heat warning in effect until tonight. Probably just a heat advisory for Thursday and Friday, but still dangerously hot. And then likely more excessive heat warnings this weekend. And then more importantly, next week as temperatures near 105 Monday and Tuesday for June 26th and the 27th.